to be an absolutely insane best of 3 between Team LDLC and Sprout. We got the Danish and German team versus the French team. It's kind of on the up and up in the country, considering well, those roster changes aren't completely finished. That's all that is going to be said at this point in time. Just some quick pistol play coming out there from Logan. He's just going to try to find as many frags as humanly possible right now. Nothing too out of the ordinary as of yet. Let me go ahead and turn up my mic real quick, just to make it a little bit easier. We are going to see Speedy actually picking up the first kill for his team, but NATO already removed from the equation, as Amanek was able to find that frag. A couple of players, which are a little bit more familiarly named here, due to their short tenure on Misfits. It's actually going to be Speedy to find 3 pistol kills to find the first round for Sprout. Picking up that pistol does actually mean a lot for this Danish and German team. Absolutely insane to see them come out the gate swinging like that, because the last time I actually casted Sprout, they were kind of struggling. Got 2-0'd very quickly. I think that was against Windstrike, ex-QBF. Oh, I am a thick boy. You know it, broken Legos. Does seem that Devo Duvek has found himself in a very strong position there out towards the lobby area, but it's not going to be that big of a deal for him to find the required position, as Amanek has found 1 kill for himself. Devo Duvek could rotate to kind of clean up, but instead he's just going to find his 1 free kill onto Speedy, but beyond that, it's going to just be absolutely brutal across the board. The last best of 3 was actually won by Kingwin. They won all 4 rounds in that 3rd overtime. Like 4 back-to-back. Not letting Tempo Storm get a word in. It's just going to be Devo Duvek actually finding additional kills. That's some good economic damage from the French players. Especially because, I mean, if you're LDLC, maybe you're expecting those CZs to work. However, with some updates being had, you're not going to see it be as beneficial for those counter-terrorists. However, there was still a slight possibility, and while if you give Devo Duvek an inch, he'll take a mile, it seems, as he's able to pick up a couple of kills for himself. Make that round very expensive for Sprout, as now they're just going to be rocking the 2 AK-47s. These LDLC players have to play as a unit now. The Alex being able to find that first kill onto Speedy. That's actually the first of the entire round coming out from LDLC. A very important frag at that, but Logan will be dropped to NATO in his deadly MAC-10. You do have to keep in mind that this is the map pick of Sprout, so you definitely want to see them take a very dominant stance. It does look like Cyclone and Percy are just going to clean up. You see Devo, Amanek, and Twanu be dropped. It's just now Sprout now with that 3-round lead, but we're going to see the first buy, including Twanu with that AWP in hands. Looking at how this round plays out, it's going to be a really important one for LDLC because they kind of need to win this, as they definitely have the upper hand economically, but they're just going to get absolutely rolled by Sprout. It's all down to Twanu, all by himself versus 4, just with that lowly AWP in his hands. Not lowly, rather lonely, considering that is a 1-shot kill to the majority of the body. 2 of these players are incredibly low, but it looks like they are just going to have an easy way out of this round alive. Dennis and NATO They both just have to fall back to save, and that's all that's required of them. Nuke going to be able to find his first frag onto Speedy. He's just going to make this expensive now as Percy falls as well. Dennis may be hunting for this frag. But no, it does look like these final two terrorists are just going to be holding on for dear life. NATO is getting incredibly close, a little too close, I should say. But it does look like Twanu is going to be able to find that frag in the end as well. Making that extremely expensive is that single AWP on LDLC. Not only that, but he's able to keep the AWP moving forward as well. This best of three is going to be definitely interesting as these players on LDLC, they're showing up and they're proving that they have what it takes to kill these Sprout players, to win these gunfights. However, it just seems so far, again, early days for this first map, that Sprout definitely have a better strategy thought out for Nuke, especially on their T side. Is just going to be, well, Twanu already being taken out of the picture. He's not going to have any kind of insane late round plays like in the previous. Speedy, he's going to be the only player out of the picture for Sprout, but getting a little bit ahead of myself as Amanek is able to find that second frag onto Percy. It's down to a 3v3. That bomb is still not planted, but NATO does have it in hand. He's right at the B bomb site, just working his way around, trying to not get his head absolutely removed by one of the Frenchmen. It does seem that Logan is able to find that first kill onto Zachrone. Oh ho ho, and little known new nuke actually going to work in Dennis's favor. He's able to get the kill onto Logan, but Amanek is in position. He pushes all the way up in heaven, stops that bomb from being planted. This could easily be the round for LDLC now, and Amanek will in fact make sure that is the case. One round now for LDLC as Sprout, they're still up by 3 rounds. They're going to be able to buy once again here. We are seeing the full buy come out from these LDLC players. 3 with kits, that's more than enough. However, on Nuke, it's a little more difficult to make a call like that. Especially because, well, the rotations are just so strange. And, well, honestly, these teams probably aren't too well adjusted to how the vents work now. I mean, just making it from A to B, especially on that CT side, is incredibly difficult. So you're going to want at least one of those defuse kits to anchor each site. But playing a full anchor on Nuke is also not necessarily the best, absolutely the best strategy. This is just going to be, seems like an execution for that ramp room, as Twanu is going to be able to get 1 kill onto Percy before, well, Percy gets his revenge from the grave with that Molotov. Holding inside of that Molotov to get the kill, it's definitely a good strategy, but it doesn't always pay off. Only being able to get 1 kill may not be worth losing your life, as it's now down to a 3v3, and LDLC really cannot afford to lose this round. They're only winning 1 so far. NATO actually gets that kill onto Amanek through the door. Logan finds Dennis, but now it's down to the 2v2. It's going to be definitely interesting to see how they're able to pull this off, but Speedy, he will be dropped by Devo Duvek, which does mean that it's all down to NATO. Kind of the star player for Sprout for sure, but in the 1v2, he's just in far too awkward of a position to make that work for him, as it's all said and done. Logan will recover the AWP, and that bomb's just going to get defused. You know how it goes. AK-47 and OP recovered by LDLC at the end of round number 6. But now Sprout, they don't have enough money to full buy into this. It's going to be definitely interesting to see how this one plays out. 4 CZs and a Deagle. I mean, the CZ nerf didn't make it absolutely unusable. You could still see a lot of CZ go happening in these kind of official matches. Now, nice and slow. That is the name of the game for Sprout right now, as they need to take these fights and make them as close range as possible. And it is just going to be Logan finding the first kill, make it a second and a third, not quite four, as Cycrone and Dennis both find frags. Logan and Alex both dropped. Still has that AWP though. Amanek, he's going to be the one to find the frag onto Cycrone. So this should be an easy third round now for LDLC. Losing 2 players is a little bit expensive, but I mean, you don't really expect to win the round if you're Sprout. So really any kills are just a bonus at this point. I'd say getting 2 kills is kind of your bare minimum requirement to having a successful eco round. Dennis not in any kind of position to make the 1v3 possible. Oh, he does have that M4 in hand. He might just be playing for rotation frags, because I wouldn't necessarily call them exit frags. But all 3 of the counter terrorists are currently on the surface level. None of them going down towards that B bomb site, but Twinu is going to have no hard time finding that frag. It was the right call to make over on that French side to keep everyone at ground level. It's just going to be an 8th round coming out. Buy from both teams. An MP9 in the hands of Alex. That's a little interesting, but you need the utility on that CT side to try to stop those terrorist pushes. They know that Sprout are full buying in this round. They just don't have that AWP in the hands of NATO, but it could be worse for Sprout. NATO, one of those operators that are definitely capable of using that AK-47 as well. Twinu, he's already proven his worth just in this first map. Make this a possibility for his team. Rocking that AWP as strongly as possible. As Alex does get the information, makes the call to his teammates, just falls back before Cycrone will rip the head off of him. It's actually Dennis who's already made his way all the way down secret already, but Twino, he's gonna have an easy time getting the kill into Cycrone. Luckily though, that bomb was dropped inside of secret, so it's easily recovered by NATO. This is just going to be a very straightforward round here as well. Actually, not expecting Alex to get that first kill onto Dennis. See, he was very low. He was in that awkward kind of stare position where you only show your head. Just trying to find the upper hand in that fight. But with the MP9, you're kind of shooting at a brick wall sometimes, it seems. Very hard to win those gunfights. NATO, he's already on 2 frags, but there's 3 players remaining. On that LDLC side, he's going to find a third as well. Not the prettiest of pictures. This NATO has already found 3 kills for himself, but here comes Twinu, able to shut him down with his CZ. And once again, an expensive round on the board, but Twinu with that flick. Nothing's too difficult for him with that AWP, it seems. When he finds his right footing, he can absolutely mow through that Sprout team. Now 4-4 on the scoreboard. This is going to be a pretty important round for LDLC to hold on to as many guns as possible, because really in any world where they're able to hold on to those weapons as long as possible, they're going to build that economic advantage. They're going to be able to continuously buy and really set themselves apart score-wise from Sprout. So you have to keep in mind, part of the reason why Sprout have 4 rounds is because those first 3 were kind of free after winning that pistol round. This is just going to be, well, as you'd expect. If Cycrone gets this kill, it would have been absolutely incredible for Sprout, just to hurt that economy, but it doesn't come through. Luckily, though, Alex, he's kind of a poor boy right now. 35-50, despite winning 5 rounds in a row. These players over on Sprout are, of course, going to have to buy here, as they are on that maximum loss bonus now. This is a technical pause from Sprout. Not quite sure what's going on. No large ping issues, so it has to be something computer issue. I don't know. Maybe like NATO got so angry that he broke his mouse a couple of rounds ago or something like that. Not really known for tilting that hard, but It's just things that can happen. I've seen it happen on LAN. There's a local Midwest player that I've stood behind him as he's broken a mouse twice. That's kind of scary. Is just going to be a little bit of a delay for this match, but it does look like the buys are coming through. Hopefully this technical issue is being resolved. You never know, you could just be calling a tech pause just because a player has to go to the bathroom or something. Oh, we're technically losing pause. That's a good one. Not necessarily allowed, but that's a good one. Now, as LDLC are for the very first time in the lead, 5-4, Sprout have to figure out what's going on. It does seem like Sacrone is the one player that isn't being active at all in this pause. And I'm wondering if he is the one with the issues here. It's possible. No actual point like delving into the reasons behind this tech pause if we don't actually know. So I guess beyond that, we just have to wait these players to get back into the server, and it does look like that's exactly what's happening. We're just going to see 5 AK-47s once again. I imagine if they lose this round, they're just going to buy upgraded pistols in the next to have a full buy, including NATO on that AWP. The execution already being lined up from those terrorists, but I mean, once again, these counter-terrorists, they only have the one AK in the hands of Logan, but Twanu, as long as he has that AWP, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. He's on that CT side, he's playing the defensive angles with that AWP, and you know he hits those shots. France kind of known for their oppers in their entire country, so I mean, I wouldn't be too sure if I was peeking into Twanu. As Percy does make his way up into heaven, looks like Sacrone may be close to follow. Just a lot of map control right now from those terrorists, and that's absolutely what's needed. Alex only able to get 1 kill onto Sacrone, but is traded out by Dennis. Amanek just making sure that he's not too far closed into, but from both sides, he doesn't really have a chance to survive that encounter, but being able to pick up 1 kill onto Dennis, that's definitely a big plus. These terrorists now do have control of the B site. Twanu, he misses that first shot, and he's not quite able to find positioning to take a second. Honestly, a really good play from these terrorists here, where taking that heaven control, actually using it to close in on both sides of that ramp. But Devo, he finds 2 kills, which actually leaves it all down to NATO, who's able to get 1 kill, but Logan, he is not able to close out the 2v1, so instead it'll be NATO winning the 1v2. 5-5 as Sprout actually pull that round together. And of course, we are going to see a buy coming out, but Alex, he does not have, well, really any money. He's just rocking the 5.7 now. Maybe the head armor wasn't a necessary purchase, but I mean, instead of 500, you've had 800, maybe buy a Deagle. It's just going to be Sacrone finding that first kill into Amanek, and Alex doing the damage he can. Is able to get Sacrone down to 7 HP. It's actually a good amount of damage now that I think about it. Speedy, he's already going to get dropped. Twanu is in position to push his way down secret. Of course, retaking these bomb sites is incredibly difficult for counter-terrorists on nuke. Especially this B bomb site. It's always tricky to find your way into it as a counter-terrorist. As Alex does pick up that first kill, he finds a second as well. It's down to a 4v2. Alex is out for blood as he even does a little bit of extra damage, but there goes Twanu finding well, at least a couple of kills. And it does look like there is time for that bomb to get defused. LDLC, they trade rounds back and forth as Sprout. They are left in the dumps right now. Look at that money after getting a full reset onto them. These players on LDLC, maybe a little hit or miss. That's to be expected at I'd say this size of Counter-Strike teams. But they're definitely hitting their shots today. At least Devo, Amanek, and Twino definitely doing what they need to be doing. But, well, I'd say 3 kills with just pistols. I'd say that's decent. Speedy is, of course, going to try to get a Zeus kill. He always tries to do that on pistol rounds. What's really funny and really frustrating is when Speedy picks up the Zeus and tries to get the kill. He does it mostly on Inferno if Sprout are in like a heavy lead. But then he does that every round until they end up going into overtime and losing. I've actually seen that happen multiple times before. Very frustrating. Speedy's just going to get ding-dong-domed, though, as Alex is able to close out the kill as well. Pick up for himself, but Percy, he's just going to drop down from above, be able to find a frag for himself, looking for more and more. This 4v4, make it a 4v3. This cannot be the round for Sprout. I mean, LDLC, they absolutely dominate, and then they lose what should be easier rounds after getting that early man advantage by killing Speedy. But now it's all down to Devo, Duvek, and Twino. Both players have to play incredibly well here on this B site. The rotation back to A is not going to be an easy one for Devo, but as Twino is removed from the server, at least for round number 13, Devo has to find a way to at least get a couple of exits. Make this as expensive as absolutely possible. This is not going to be too pretty, especially as NATO catches out Devo before any kind of exit frags comes out from that counter-terrorist. They're going to be able to muster up some kind of force here. Of course, when you hit that full reset, you're going to have to hit that force buy. Now looking at this round here, these players on Sprout, they finally even have that AWP on NATO. It took them a while, as you have to keep in mind, we're only 1 round away from half 1 being completed. Well, it took them a decent amount of time, but Twino, of course, does have that AWP in hand. He's going to be able to do some damage with it. Alex finding Mercy as well. Twino going absolutely insane, finds one. And you can't tell me this is the round that LDLC win without losing at least 3 players. Dennis is able to make this very expensive, though, as Devo and Logan both die. But it's LDLC 8-6. If they win this 9-6, Sprout are going to be in kind of a desolate position if they're not able to win this next pistol round. Looking at how this round's going to play out, you do have those 2 players on CZs. But I mean, with Speedy and Percy's individual play styles, I could definitely see themselves in decent positions to win these gunfights, but they have to find themselves in those positions first. Speedy and Percy both kind of work their way around the map, and LDLC usually pretty good at stopping any kind of map black magic like that. And Amanek, he's gonna hit the double, not quite the triple spray, as Percy has found his way into a good position, which I just said LDLC, they're pretty good at stopping that. They weren't able to this time, but Twino, he kills Sacron. That bomb is in the hands of Percy. It's getting planted on the B site. This is going to be incredibly difficult. That toxic room no longer exists, so Percy's going to have to find a much easier position than just standing directly in front of the bomb. Dennis is going to be able to find that frag onto LDLC to find the round. Excuse me, I'm not quite sure what happened in my brain in that sentence. And Devo will get the final kill on to Percy and say mercy in chat as the bomb does get defused and LDLC do pick up that 9th round. I hope I made up for my absolute devastation, which was a couple of sentences ago, with a pun that wasn't funny. Going to be a pretty sight for sure if Sprout are not able to pick up this next pistol, because, I mean, the sides are now changed. LDLC on that terrorist side, Sprout playing CT. They're not going to have a plausible way to buy before 3 rounds have already been played out if they're not able to pick up this pistol. So definitely something you have to watch out for if you are on that CT side. Amanek just opening up the windows into the A site. You do have Alex with a little bit of utility. You like to have the in-game leader hold on to that. So, I mean, the execution's really just in his hands. But you have 2 players over on Sprout rocking utility instead of armor, including that defuse kit on NATO. This is just going to be a nice and slow round from these terrorists, but as the execution does come through, Percy's standing in position with that 5-7 to only be able to get 1 kill. I was expecting for him to find at least 2 there, but as NATO is still alive, as is Speedy, they're just going to absolutely tear through those terrorists. Not being able to get that bomb down as well. That means, well, now LDLC are in a tricky position. Both pistol rounds won now by Sprout. They're still down by 2. These players on LDLC may not be in the best of positions to start off their T side. It's definitely tricky. You don't have that walkway directly into heaven anymore. You can't rush down vents with pistols anymore as easily. It's just kind of difficult for these rounds for terrorists. I haven't really seen any team have a great eco strat for this newest version of Nuke, at least not yet. It is going to be Sacrone finding the first kill onto Alex. Nothing out of the ordinary, though. We're just seeing, well, a 5-7 and 4 CZs. Just making his way out onto the site, finding the frag onto Sacrone, but Percy once again just playing on top of Hut. He's actually going to be able to find the multi-frag this time, and find the 2nd and a 3rd as well. It's all down to Logan, who doesn't have the bomb in his hand. He's not going to be able to get that money for his team. So this is pretty much the round for Sprout. Speedy's just going to remove his head, make it quick and painless. I respect you for that, Speedy. This is just going to be an absolute murder house of a round from Sprout, I would expect. You have NATO rocking that scout. I'm very interested to see if we're going to find any great fragging capabilities from him with just that weaponry. It does look like Omnek and Alex are both going to get dropped by Dennis, and well, this round's already over as NATO gets the final kill. Not with the scout, but with a USP. Recovering an M4 for his teammates as well. This is going to be the first full buy from LDLC. All tied up now in round number 19. You have to keep in mind, this is just map number 1. Map was, of course, chosen by Sprout, so now that they're on that CT side, I could really expect to see some great things coming up from these players. Not going to be the prettiest positions for sure. It's just 5 AK-47s for LDLC, and not only that, they have to find their way into a bomb site. Alex, he will pick up a first and second kill for himself, looking for more, but Percy, his position around that hut is just so strong. He can find 2 kills for himself before finally being shut down. It's down to a 2v1 though, as NATO, if he gets this kill onto Twino, it should be pretty easy to find Logan as well. Luckily though for these terrorists, they at least got that bomb planted. Oh no, that Molotov. That means NATO, he's absolutely won this round. He played that like an absolute champ, using the utility to the best of its extent. I mean, I guess if you were Logan, you could have waited to see where that Molotov spread, possibly still hid behind the silos, but it's very dangerous and not really something that you see many players attempt. Well, this of course was the pick of Sprout. The next map will be Train, and possibly a Dust 2 Decider if it goes all the way to those 3 maps. As Twino just makes his way towards Secret, Dennis peeks out at just the wrong time. Gets his head absolutely removed. Free haircuts 24/7 by Twino himself. It's now that M4A4 in the hands of those terrorists. Percy will even things up, making it a 4v4 as Alex is removed from the server. Now is going to lead the push into that A bomb site. Percy and Sacrone both absolutely destroyed there. They do now know where NATO is playing from, and that's going to make it that much more difficult for any kind of retake to come through, especially as Amanek has killed Speedy. Not really the round you're expecting Sprout to lose, but it's going to be tied up once again at 10-10. NATO's just looking for any kind of frags that he can find. I mean, these players on LDLC, they just found themselves in very good positions, and in the case of, it was Amanek that got that kill that actually gave him the M4 that he just killed NATO with. He played it incredibly patiently. Okay, nobody actually recovered that AWP. That's unfortunate, but Twino can still afford it, and this is a very, very important round. A Sprout, they're low now, but they still have a full buy. I'd say the only thing you could possibly hope for is more utility. Maybe Sacrone rocking a full rifle instead of an SMG. It does look like these players on the T side, they're rocking 3 M4s and 1 AK-47. I bet they wish they had the flipped version of that over on their CT side, but it never came to that. Okay, and it does look like Sacrone may be the first to fall, but he's actually going to go down vents to save his own life. Dennis, he's definitely putting himself in a good position to find a couple of frags. As well, Percy playing on top of Hut and around Hut, going to be a lot less impactful now. Well, these players on Sprout, they've capitalized on his ability to hold those positions so much already, but it's going to be Dennis to rip the head off of Twino, find good damage onto Alex as well. But not only that, he's not even dead yet. This has been a great round so far for Sprout, despite only 1 kill coming through. The positions that these players have found themselves in, that's really going to catch these terrorists off guard for sure. Oh no, NATO's going to lose his life for sure. Alex was in a very strong position, but it's a very fast trade for Speedy. This is actually a very, very good round. Both teams, exciting position to see both of these teams in, but as Speedy gets the final kill. 3 kills for Dennis, 2 for Speedy. 11 rounds total now for Sprout as they once again take the lead. But LDLC, they're able to buy once again. In fact, Twino is even going to have his very own AWP. Seeing Logan, he spent 64.50 in this round, but he's only rocking that Deagle. It wasn't even his own Deagle, mind you. It was dropped for him. be Alex and Twino, both finding early kills. So that's Dennis and Sacrone already removed from the server. Percy getting a little too aggressive for his own good. I mean, these players on Sprout definitely still have a good chance to make this not only expensive, but possibly even a round win. But as Amanek kills Speedy, it's all down to NATO versus 4. 2 of these players are low, so it's still probable, but highly unlikely. It's just going to be NATO finding that one exit on Alex. He's just playing for exits at this point, as he has that AK-47 in hand. He just has to be able to hold on to it. Now LDLC will once again tie things up 11-11. Sprout, they're really kind of struggling on their own map pick, but at least it's being kept nice and close. It's not like they're not winning rounds. It's been very, well, kind of back and forth here. We saw Sprout winning the first 4 rounds of both halves, and now we are going to see a match pause. That reset coming out onto Sprout. I assume this is tactical. I have no confirmation of that as of yet, however, but I guess it doesn't even really matter. This is just going to be nuke being played out to the best of their ability from Sprout, I guess with pistols. Though NATO is able to hold on to that AK-47, I'm not quite sure what he's going to be able to do with that weapon when the rest of his team is just on pistols. Maybe he can do the damage and his teammates can follow up with the kills. Hero AK, definitely something that works on T side. CT side, however, I mean, you'd rather have the rifle than not. It's not like he bought it, but I mean, the impactfulness of that weapon when it's the only full rifle could still be disputed. 11-11 as we're entering round number 23 now. Alex and Logan still need to buy, but it actually looks like it's going to be a drop. There we go. We're only seeing Alex rocking that CZ. This is definitely a good setup for LDLC. They really can't afford to lose any players aside from Alex over on that terrorist side. Percy, oh so impactful in that strong position. It's actually going to be Alex to find the very first kill onto Dennis as Amanek finds Sacrone, Devo Duvek onto Percy, and well, now it's all down to NATO and Speedy. Well, now, just make it NATO. Now, the 5-1. We're gonna have to see that AK-47 do some good damage. Any kind of damage, really. Getting that kill onto that counter-terrorist would mean a lot for these Ts, as they could upgrade Alex to an AK-47 if the positioning is right. But now that that bomb's planted, couldn't imagine NATO even attempting a frag or 2 of these, but as he's actually able to find the first kill onto Amanek, he's just going to fall back to that B bomb site. Looking to peek out once again from ramp, though. That's kind of interesting. Twino is able to stop that madman from finding any kind of footing in the round. Only 1 kill for you, and then you're done. Match pause once again as well. Sprout really need to make this work for them. It's going to be absolutely insane. It is definitely attack pause from Sprout. Not only would that be the correct call to make, but it's been confirmed that that was the call that was made. These players on the French team are once again in the lead, but now they're finding a lead late in the game. They figured out how the buy is going to come out on that CT side, but now they have to be able to capitalize on that. Definitely going to be a strong showing from LDLC on their opponent's map pick. A map that we honestly see Sprout dominate on most of the time. That's why they pick this map, but Well, it seems that the French team are able to bounce back into this. Those look like the full rifle buy from Sprout is in fact going to be, well, matched by LDLC. But not only that, you even have just Dominik rocking a Mac 10, but NATO, he's already able to find 2 kills. That's a one-man advantage for Sprout. Since, of course, NATO did die, he was being absolutely bombarded by terrorists. But there goes Logan and Dominik both finding kills. It all just falls apart so quickly for Sprout in these rounds. They either win the rounds or LDLC takes the bomb site, gets 3 or 4 kills on the entry to the bomb site, and then the round's practically over. It's all down to Sacrone with that M4. I would say the right call to make would just, maybe if you get one of these kills, go for it, but now still in the 1v2, he's just going to hold on to an AWP for his teammate. That is probably the best call to make at this point. It's going to be a 13th round for LDLC. A really, really good position to be in for the French team. Especially because, I mean, they're going into Train next. It's their map pick. It's a map that they are very good at. A map that you kind of see Sprout be either hit or miss on. Not really the position that you want to be in if you're the Danish team. German organization, I should say. Two-round lead for LDLC is probably going to become a 3-round lead here in round number 25. This game is definitely starting to close in on those Sprout players. They definitely need to make something work for them rather quickly. As Percy not able to find a single one of those kills on the defense, it's actually going to be Speedy. Able to find Devo Duvek upgrade to an AK-47, but down the 2v4, can't really see that be too impactful. It's just Logan. Get the kill onto Sacrone, and now all down to Speedy. That's the round. 14 for LDLC, and they're 1 away from map point. Of course, you're going to see the buy from Sprout, because mistake, yeah, prove me if I'm wrong, but it's been 4 rounds in a row for LDLC, and even after this one, Sprout are at least going to be able to muster up a decent buy if they're not able to win round number 26 here, as they will be on maximum loss bonus. Is, of course, going to be a nice and slow round from the terrorists, as they know what's at stake here. If they beat Sprout, that's Sprout's map pick, then they're going to go into Train very confident. If they win that first pistol as well, keep the momentum up, Sprout are really going to have to... They're going to have to play the mental game. Not really something that teams want to have to do. But I mean... this Danish and German roster, it's a possibility. It's close, but it's going to be difficult if they're not able to pick up a couple of rounds here. Speedy does kill Alex, so it is, of course, going to be a man advantage for Sprout. In fact, it's down to a 2v4. Still very, very possible for these counter-terrorists to pick up a couple of rounds here, make it nice and even once again. Is just going to be Speedy on the flank, able to get that first kill onto Twino. Now Devil Duvek in position. He knew that there was one on the flank. It actually seemed very good from those counter-terrorists. They had a player in every single position imaginable. Luckily, though, for LDLC, they are going to be able to buy once again. Well, honestly, they built up quite the little economy for themselves. But now it's a full buy for both teams. Sure, you don't have NATO with a defuse kit. He doesn't have head armor. That's not necessary, though. As, well, it is just against AK-47s and an op. Just save your, what is it, $350? Devo Duvek, he's going to actually get hit significantly by that grenade. Down to 58 HP. insane. It's just going to be nice and slow from these terrorists as well. They were able to buy into this round, but things start to get a little more shaky when you go into round number 28 and 29 for LDLC if they're not able to win this round here. They should be able to buy once again, but they may just wait for number 29. Down to that 4v2. Cyclone and Percy definitely have a strong position in this round, especially since Percy was able to get that kill onto Devo Duvek. They're actually going to go ahead and plant at A, knowing that there's only one counter-terrorist in a close position. I'd say that's a fairly smart move. But now it's all about retaking that site for Sprout, and this is about to be up to map point. You're about to get full reset. This is bad for Sprout. This is a really bad position to be in if you're Sprout. And Alex, he is going to be able to get the kill onto Zachrone, but not until the damage is done and Logan is dropped at least. It's all down to Percy, who is able to hold on to his weaponry. They're going to have to find something that works for them in this round, as it's all the way up to map point. I mean, the Sprout, they have the next map to come back into this, but they need to win the next map. It wasn't their map pick. It's one of LDLC's strongest maps. I would say they have a long road ahead of them, but it's still possible. These players on Sprout, they're insane. NATO, Dennis, Cyclone, that trio right there can absolutely steamroll that LDLC team. You have to keep in mind, Speedy and Percy, they've proven that they can find their way around this French team and put themselves in really good positions. It's going to be Dennis as the first to fall, after Alex does, in fact, get the kill. This is really important now for Sprout to just hold their positions and be able to win these gunfights. But as Cyclone falls, that's already 2 out of 5 removed from the server in what could be the final round. Is just going to be, oh, Speedy actually finding good damage to that CZ, trying to fall back into a better position, but it doesn't happen. This is most likely going to be your final round here. As well, these terrorists do kind of take a decent position, but NATO able to find 2 kills with that CZ. Duvek getting that kill onto Percy as well. He's down to the 1v2, so this is going to be the end as Devo Duvek